This week I've been diving into the Studio Membership by Liz Kohler-Brown. Not an affiliate, just what I'm using right now to learn. I've been focusing on pattern math, basically the spacing and alignment that makes a repeat fit together perfectly. I recently updated Affinity Designer 2 on my iPad. I hadn't opened it in a while, so I started with the Affinity 101 lessons inside the studio to relearn the basics. I made a small project to practice using the tools and get comfortable again. Once I had that down, I moved on to the lessons about pattern math and layouts. I've used pattern layouts before, but I didn't realize how helpful they actually are. I always used to struggle with scattered layouts, trying to include all the elements, size them correctly, and keep the spacing consistent. When I first started learning pattern design in Illustrator, I used pre-made layouts that worked with the Symbols tool, but I never created one from scratch. Now, using Affinity Designer 2 feels familiar, a lot like Illustrator, but I'm building everything myself this time. The tools make sense to me, and I can see how learning the math behind the layouts helps me make more balanced, intentional designs instead of just guessing where things should go. Here are 3 diamond layouts I've made in Affinity Designer 2. I've realized why so many designers use pattern layouts. They make everything easier. When I start with a layout, I don't have to overthink where each element goes or whether things will fit. The structure is already there, so I can focus on how the motifs interact instead of constantly adjusting spacing. Professional surface pattern designers use layouts all the time. They're like blueprints for a repeat. They help make everything line up perfectly from edge to edge, keep the pattern balanced, and make it easy to build new designs that feel cohesive across a whole collection. Once you understand the math behind it, you can reuse those same layouts over and over, changing the motifs or colors to create something totally new. For me, it takes a lot of the stress out of guessing and lets me focus more on the creative part, building rhythm, movement, and flow in the pattern instead of getting stuck on the technical details. One of the trickiest parts this week was figuring out the pattern math, especially when I was creating the diamond layout. I had to relearn how to read the X and Y grid again, which brought back memories of math class, and math was never my strong suit. Even though I was following a tutorial, my diamond element didn't end up the same size as in the video, so I had to stop and work out my own math. I had to remember which direction things move along the X and Y axis, how far to shift elements up or down, and double check my measurements to make sure everything lined up. Thankfully, Affinity Designer 2 makes it easier with tools that help with spacing and calculations. And when something didn't look right, I could just undo and try it again, which honestly I did a few times until it finally clicked. Alongside learning pattern layouts, I've also been working on my illustration style. I went back to the Inky Wonderlands book for inspiration and decided to draw a floral bouquet. My plan is to use this bouquet as both a repeating element in a pattern and as a standalone graphic for things like mugs or prints. I started in Procreate by sketching out the shapes I wanted to include, then followed the full process, inking over the sketch, adding color, and finishing with small details and highlights. It was a great exercise in slowing down and really paying attention to line work and balance. This piece helped me connect what I'm learning about layouts with how I actually draw, thinking about how each motif could fit into a larger design. Even though this video is shorter, this is really what my art practice looks like right now. A lot of learning, experimenting, and slowly building skills. I've been watching videos, trying new techniques, and connecting all the pieces. Drawing, pattern layouts, color, and composition. It's not flashy, but it's progress. Every small project teaches me something new and helps me move closer to creating a cohesive collection that feels like my own style. I also have a quick calendar update. I spent some time turning the wall calendar into a desk version, and it's now up in my Etsy shop. It was fun to adapt the artwork into a new format, and I think about how these designs could work across different products. If you're learning alongside me or just exploring your own creative projects, thank you for watching and sharing this part of the journey. I'll be back next week with more updates as I keep practicing and refining my work. What's next? I'll be sharing more finished work, experimenting with my illustration style, practicing trend searching at local stores, continuing course lessons, and making Pinterest updates. Please stay connected. Remember, new videos posted on Fridays at 8 a.m. Central Time, and you can subscribe for more calendar updates and future project updates. Thank you so much for watching Make Something Small.